the United States. It's a blending of three ethnic backgrounds that comes together to form one culture. It's Native American Indian, West African, and European, all three of which have lived here on this property at one time. See, for about 100 years, all of this area we're standing at, this was the site for a huge Indian village. So you see the French, they considered the Indians to be French, so they kick them off the property. The descendants of the Indians that live in the area today. West Africans, they came from Senegal in the 1720s as slaves, and the descendants of the West Africans, they also live in the area today. Two European families ran this as a sugar plantation for 190 years. The first 95 was French, and the second 95 was German, which see both were Creole and both spoke French. This house was abandoned in 1984. French was the only language that was spoken inside that house. You see, we have 12 buildings in the National Register we're currently restoring. We had to restore the big house twice because on August 9, 2004, we had an electrical fire which devastated about 80% of the house. It took us about 30 months, and restoration of the house was complete in December of 2006. I want you to get a good look at the architectural design of this house. See, this is how most Creoles built their houses 200 years ago in Louisiana. The first thing you'll notice about a Creole's house, they raised them up very high off the ground. That's because the Mississippi River could flood in the spring, and it's much cooler and drier to live upstairs. The Creoles would also face their houses towards the water and put their big windows and doors in front of the house to catch the breeze. They also built a porch called a gallery. When the house was built, the porch went all the way around the house for shade, but the porches later enclosed on either side of the house in the 1820s to build bedrooms for children. Also, here in Louisiana, underneath us, we do not have bedrock underneath us. We have rivers with this very soft clay and dirt that you see here. That actually goes about a mile into the ground before you reach a single rock. And it's very, very, very good stuff, Riverstone, because everything grows in Riverstone, but it's also not so great because a big house like this, under the weight of the house, it can start to sink into the ground. So to keep the big house from sinking, all the vertical columns on the walls that you see there, they all go into the ground 8 feet. Everything above the ground is vertical, as you see it there. Everything below the ground becomes these pyramids of brick. And there were 72 pyramids that all touch each other to get the big house from sinking into the ground. So also, until 1916, we could pass along the river road there and know exactly who was living in a house just by what color it was painted. Until 1916,